Good evening, students.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, so our today's lesson is on respiration, and respiration is the chemical breakdown of food by the body cells to release energy. The chemical breaking down of food by the body cells to release energy. Now we have two types of respiration. The first one is called aerobic respiration, while the second one is called anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is the breaking down of food in the presence of oxygen to generate energy. So the breaking down of food in the presence of oxygen to release energy is what we call aerobic respiration. While the other one, the anaerobic respiration, it is where food is broken down to generate energy, but in the absence of oxygen. Yeah, it occurs in the absence of oxygen. Now, in each case, both aerobic and anaerobic, there are two stages. The reactions proceed in two stages, and in this case, the first stage is called glycolysis. The first stage is called glycolysis. And the second stage is called Krebs cycle. So what is happening during glycolysis is just but the formation of a 3-carbon compound called pyruvic acid. Now the other name for pyruvic acid is what we call a pyruvate. A 3-carbon compound called what? A pyruvic acid or pyruvate. So here the food is just partially broken down in the absence of oxygen. Then later now, it proceeds by now further breaking down of this formed pyruvic acid again to energy. Now in this case, it will depend whether there is oxygen or there is no oxygen. In case there will be oxygen present, then the reaction will proceed aerobically. It will proceed aerobically, so that aerobic respiration now will be complete. But if there is no oxygen, then the reaction will proceed anaerobically, and in this case, anaerobic respiration will have taken place. So this is the summary of what happens. We have respiration, and we have said there are of two types: aerobic respiration and the other one we have said anaerobic respiration. But in this case, we have said in each case both proceeds in two-step reaction. So the first step we have said food is being broken down. Food is being broken down to what we call pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid. And the other name for pyruvic acid we have said it is called what? Pyruvate. It is called pyruvate. So this process is what we call glycolysis. This process is what we call glycolysis, and the same case applies to anaerobic respiration. We are going also to have food being broken down. We are going to have food being broken down to pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid. So in this case, the process remains to be what? Glycolysis. So the process will remain to be a glycolysis, and in this case, we have said pyruvic acid is also what? Pyruvate. Now, what follows next, like just what we have said, will depend now. Is there oxygen present or not present? If oxygen is present, now during the aerobic respiration, we are going to have the pyruvic acid being broken further. It will be broken further to number one. It will be broken further to energy. Again, it will be broken further into energy, carbon dioxide, and water. Energy, carbon dioxide, and water. Sorry, I want to make this visible. So it will be carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Those are the three things. Now, this will be in both plants and animals. So, in both plants and animals. What we have in common? Oxygen is present. Oxygen is present. Then what happens when the food has been broken down to pyruvic acid? Anaerobically, where oxygen is absent, then we are going to have two products. In animals, we are going to have two end products. And the first one will be energy, which is less than in the aerobic respiration. So energy, and the other one will be lactic acid and energy. In this case, oxygen is absent. Oxygen is absent. What happens to plants is that we are going to see that this pyruvic acid will be broken down to three substances. So three substances will be formed. And in this case, the first one will be energy. The second one will be carbon dioxide. And then the last one is ethanol. Last one will be ethanol. So here, this is the products formed when anaerobic respiration takes place in what? In plants. And in both cases, we have said oxygen is what? Oxygen is absent. Oxygen is not around. Oxygen is absent. Now, due to the formation of the lactic acid, this kind of respiration is called lactic acid fermentation. In other words, anaerobic respiration in animals is called lactic acid fermentation. That is the name given to the type of anaerobic respiration in animals. Now, due to the formation of ethanol, in plants, we are going to have the process being called ethanol fermentation. So that is the other name for anaerobic respiration in plants. Ethanol fermentation. We call it ethanol fermentation. Are you together? Yeah. So that is the summary diagram. For aerobic respiration. So the first stage we have said is glycolysis, and in this case, the second stage will be called the Krebs cycle. It will be called the Krebs cycle. So in this case, this is the Krebs cycle. And in this case, both this one and this one, they occur in the Krebs cycle. Both of these are the Krebs cycle. This is the Krebs cycle. This is now the Krebs cycle. So Krebs cycle is the second stage of the anaerobic respiration in both plants and animals. The second stage of respiration is Krebs cycle. The first stage we have said is glycolysis. Are we together? Yeah, so that is just but the summary of respiration. Stay tuned for more.